This month, we've got updates to core networking, CloudFormation, storage, databases, and so much more. There are a ton of announcements and updates to get to, so let's dive in. For Pluralsight, I'm David Tucker, and this is the September 2021 episode of Cloud Tracker for Amazon Web Services. Let's kick it off with our featured announcements for this month. AWS has finalized the name change of the Elasticsearch service to the Amazon OpenSearch service. And they have released version 1.0 of the open source OpenSearch service, if you can say that 3 times fast. This release comes with several new features, including index transforms, a new tool called OpenSearch Dashboard Notebooks, and data streams for your time series data. Now, the service itself still supports Elasticsearch for the time being, as well as the new release of OpenSearch, but no new versions of Elasticsearch will be supported after version 7.10. Now, check out the links in the episode notes for the release and summaries of the new features that it includes. For users of Redis, you now have a fully managed option you can leverage on AWS with the newly announced MemoryDB. Now, while Redis has been supported with Elasticache for what seems like ages, and by the way, Elasticache also now supports auto-scaling as of this month, but it doesn't provide the durability and high availability that you would need to use it as your primary database. With MemoryDB, you get compatibility with Redis, but with the addition of both the durability and high availability needed for a primary in-memory data store. Now, while this is managed for you, it isn't quite serverless. You still need to configure instance sizes and set up shards and replicas for your data. Now, the service launched in 4 regions with more coming soon, so check out the linked blog post for more information. Now, if you're ingesting streaming data using Kinesis Firehose, you may be able to eliminate some custom work in your data flow. Earlier this month, AWS released dynamic partitioning to Amazon S3 for Kinesis Firehose instead of the default timestamp partitioning. Now, with this in place, you can more efficiently query the data within S3. Organizations that have addressed this problem previously have had to add an additional manual step to enable this type of partitioning. Now, this new feature doesn't just support a single partition, but instead it enables the use of multiple partition keys to create nesting of the data across multiple values. I have included a blog post that will walk you through all the steps to get this running for your data streaming solution. So, have you ever set up a new CloudFormation stack and hit an error in the initial deployment only to have it roll everything back? For small stacks, this may cause you to lose a few minutes due to having to redeploy. But if you have a large stack or a large nested stack, this could cost you a lot of time to redeploy. Well, the CloudFormation team has continued their winning streak by providing the ability to preserve the state of your stack when you hit an error rather than rolling back. To use this new feature, you need to specify disable rollback when you deploy via the CLI, or just select preserve successfully provisioned resources when launching from the console. Now, if you're using the AWS CDK, this feature has already been added along with another amazing new feature called Hot Swap that will deploy changes to your Lambda function if you have any changes that have been made without having to redeploy the entire stack. Now, this feature can cut down the deployment time by a massive amount if you aren't changing your infrastructure. So check out all the infrastructure as code updates that I've discussed here from the links in the episode notes. Now, if you build multi-region solutions on AWS, I have an exciting announcement for you. This month, AWS announced multi-region access points for Amazon S3. With this feature, you can define a global endpoint that spans multiple buckets in multiple regions. After the initial buckets are created in each region, you can create this access point. Now, as a part of creating it, you can specify the replication rules for data that gets written to the bucket from the access point. Now, with this, you can refer to the access point alias like you would refer to an S3 bucket during an S3 operation. Now, this new feature is also supported in CloudFormation, so you can put this in place using your declarative templates. Now, if there is a downside with this feature, it's that the pricing is a bit complex. Read through the blog post I have included to get information on how to estimate your costs with this new feature. Next, we previously announced that Amazon's EKS Anywhere service was available for public preview. And as of this month, Amazon announced that this feature is now generally available. With this service, you can use EKS to deploy containers on your own custom infrastructure. This solution enables you to use what Amazon provides instead of having to keep up with and maintain your own Kubernetes installation. Follow the link in the episode notes to get started with EKS Anywhere. Also, you should know that this isn't our last EKS announcement for this episode. Now, it's rare to see updates in something as core as VPC routing, but that's exactly what Amazon has given us over the last month. With these new routing enhancements, you now have new capabilities for monitoring and controlling traffic between subnets via virtual appliances in your VPCs. Now, you can leverage custom third-party or AWS-provided appliances like the AWS Network Firewall. Now, I've provided a link to a blog post that covers how you can leverage these enhancements to integrate the AWS Network Firewall within an application. Check out this post for multiple examples of how you can configure this for your VPC traffic. Next, we have a huge list of platform updates, so let's get started. First up, AWS has continued to make their planned local zones available. Over the last month, we have seen the zones in Chicago, Kansas City, and Minneapolis go live. Also, AWS has released version 17 of Corretto, their production-ready distribution of the Open JDK, and this release corresponds with the JDK version 17. Follow the link in the notes to download this version and to leverage it for your Java workloads on AWS. Now, with the release earlier this month, the AWS Amplify team has added the ability to use custom hooks, which are scripts that will execute before, during, or after key actions. This adds the ability to do things like validation, enforcing local environment rules, and running custom analysis tools locally. Check out the link in the docs to get started with this feature. Next, if you have existing Kubernetes clusters that you want to integrate with EKS, you are in luck. Because this month, AWS released the EKS Connector in public preview. Now, this uses an agent that runs on your cluster that connects it with EKS. Now, you can get started testing this out today, but you'll want to wait a bit before using it in production environments. Now, the Redshift team has released a new tool to help with managing and interacting with your clusters and databases. This tool, Amazon Redshift RSQL, is a command line tool that gives you the ability to query your database and get the output in a variety of formats. Now, this tool provides all the capabilities of the pSQL tool for Postgres while adding many Redshift-specific features. As of now, this tool is available for Linux, Mac, and Windows. CloudWatch Application Insights now supports application auto-discovery. That means there are even less steps that you need to take to get data on the performance of your cloud workloads. Now, in addition, this will provide a summary in a dashboard that is configured to the services that you're going to be leveraging. Now, to learn more, check out the announcement in the episode notes. Now, since we're talking about observability and monitoring, it makes sense to talk about Amazon Managed Grafana. As of this month, this service is now generally available. It launches with new support for Grafana version 8, as well as supporting SAML 2.0 for sign-in. Next, if you're leveraging SageMaker Studio, you now have less steps required to test your inference endpoints. Now, through the tool, you can configure your JSON payload and pass it along to your endpoint and then review the results. No more having to leverage Postman alongside SageMaker Studio. You can do it all from one tool. Next, we'll stay in the ML and AI world to review a new feature for Amazon Transcribe, which supports the redaction of personally identifiable information, or PII, from streaming transcriptions. With this feature, you can specify the type of information that you would like to be redacted, and this includes social security numbers, bank account numbers, credit card information, and many other types of data. Check out the notes for the full details on this feature. Next, if you're using Amazon Simple Email Service, or SES, to send email from your AWS account, you now can send a lot more per email. While the default email send and receive limits are still in place, 10 megabytes and 30 megabytes respectively, you can now request an increase to 40 megabytes for each. Check out the link to the docs to find out how to request this for your accounts. Next, Amazon EventBridge has continued rolling out support for multi-account solutions by adding support for schema discovery across accounts. Check out the link for how to leverage this feature. Finally, AWS has changed the rules for working with S3 intelligent tiering. In doing this, the minimum storage duration and the extra charge for small objects have been removed. These were the two biggest detractors for this storage class, so if you chose not to use it before, you might want to revisit it. Also, if you're using it today, you will probably see a cost reduction in your next bill, as these changes also apply to current objects using this storage class. Now, I have two learning resources for you this month. First, I have a course from the Pluralsight content library that is designed to help you with getting started on your IoT workloads in AWS. This course, Integrating AWS IoT Core in Your Application by Alan Jones, walks you through the configuration of the messaging broker and its rules, dealing with the shadow device service, and leveraging Device Defender for security. Now, if you're looking to learn AWS IoT, this is a great place to start. Finally, AWS has launched Build on AWS from AWS Activate. This is a tool and resource for startups, and it provides resources to quickly get your ideas up and running in the cloud by leveraging existing infrastructure templates and other AWS resources. If you're a startup considering using AWS, check out the introduction video in the episode notes. Now, thanks for joining us for this month's Cloud Tracker for AWS. You can find links to everything I've discussed in the episode notes. I'll see you next month to discuss what's new in the cloud here on Cloud Tracker.